Alright guys, in this video we should be wrapping up setting up these animals for our state machine, and we should be able to get some life happening and a testable product after this video. Hopefully it works out. Maybe one more, but we'll see. So we need to fill out the script here. You can see it's pretty much empty. So we're going to just start from the top. Actually, before we do that, we're going to set a tag. So go here and you're going to have to add a tag if there's not one already created. So we're going to create a tag. We're going to add a plus. We're going to call it stag. Save. And go back to your object and just set it as stag for its tag name. And then the next thing we're going to want is the animal stats. So in your workstation, under your name, you're going to find, I already set this up for you, so looking for Jeremiah's animal stats scriptable objects. If you remember, we made these folders, and then you're just going to take the appropriate one and drag it in. Alright. Just so you see what's in here, this is where we can set different fields for whatnot, just to kind of keep the code a little bit clean. I have a default set right now, and we'll work on this at another point when we're going to fine tune these, but just so you know how that's working. Okay, so that's set now. Back to our stag, and these are just set public so we can just kind of see and test. They're probably not going to be public or whatnot for a while. We'll just leave them this way just so we can test these things out. So the next thing we're going to need is a sleep effects particle system, and where we're going to find that. Oh, and we're also going to need an attack. Don't worry about the rest of these. We're just going to do sleep and attack for now. So collapse this just so it's out of our way, and we're going to go into the Epic Tune Effects folder, and in here we're going to go into prefabs, and we're going to go to combat, and you're going to find brawling. Open that up, and we're just, for now, we're going to mess with all this later, but for now we're just going to create a cartoony punch extreme and just drag it into your scene. For now, close that, and then you're going to go down here into miscellaneous, and we're going to bring Sleepy ZZZ, bring that into your scene as well. So these are going to be our two particle effects, and let's just go ahead and close that back up so it's not in our way. And kind of like we did with the animations, we don't want to use these directly from here and modify them, because I just want to keep these folders up here very clean and keep just what we're working on in our AI state machine folder here. So what we're going to do to keep these separate is we're going to go into the hierarchy here. We're going to right click on it. You're going to find prefab, and you're going to find unpack completely, and we're just going to do that for both prefabs here. Unpack completely. Okay, so now these are no longer prefabs, and they're separated from what was in the Epic Tune Effects pack, and we're just going to rename them. We'll rename it Sleep FX. And this one we're just going to rename Attack FX, just like that. Okay, now in our programming AI state machine, go into our workstations where all of our components are here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this folder Jeremiah's Prefabs. and we're going to create these here as our own prefabs. So now these are our own specific prefabs that are independent of all other prefabs. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is you're going to bring these down, and you can hold Control or Shift to grab them both at the same time, and we're going to drag them into our animal just like that, and we're just going to position them onto our animal. Do them individually here, something like that. That looks good, right? Oh, over his head. This 3D, it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but just kind of set it up so it's there. We'll fine tune this at some other time. I wouldn't get too worried about it. And the attack effect, let's just hit play so you can see. Play. Okay, that looks good. I think we're going to rotate this 90. Let's try that. 90. Play. Nope, that's not good. Maybe it was negative 90. Play. Nope, that's not right either. Here, just let me hang on one second. Okay, so I just checked on it, and so the rotation is going to be 0, something like 11.5, and 90 for your rotations. That's going to be alright for me for now. And again, just try and position it, hit play, see how it looks. Alright, I think that looks pretty good for now. Anyway, we're fine-tuning this all eventually later anyway. So those two are set up where we want them, and we're just going to go back into our stag here, and we're going to take these from here and just drag it. So wait, which one did I have? Sleep effects goes here, and attack effects will go here. And again, don't worry about the rest of these. Do not worry about the nav mesh agent. That's going to be instantiated in the script, so these don't need to be public either, but again, for testing I just have them set up this way. Alright, so that should be good. Nav mesh agent animator. Actually, there's one more component that we need to add. I think I forgot about this in the previous videos. So just set up an animator, and you're going to need your animator controller. So we'll go back in your animations, stag animations, and set your animator right here into the controller. So here's your animator state controller. We can collapse that again. Alright. These are again just for testing. The next thing we're going to set up is our health bar. So in my prefabs, yes, this is right here. It's in the community part under AI state machine. My prefabs, you're going to have a health bar canvas, and we're just going to put this somewhere above our animal. That looks okay for now, and drag this again under our stag, and here we're just going to set a reference to our health bar canvas by dragging it. Okay, so I see what the problem is here. We're missing the script for the health bar, and I'm gonna rename this to health bar. kind of borrowed this from one of my previous games that I made, and it was a patrol bar in that game. So it's the same thing, same script. We're just going to rename it health bar, and we're going to need to attach the script to our health bar in order for this to work. So you could just click on the little radio button here, and we're going to look for our health bar script. Okay, that should work now. Yeah, everything looks good. Slider, unfill. Let's just double check everything. Make sure everything's going to work. And we're missing a sprite here. Hang on a second again. Alright, here we're going to click the radio button again and just click health bar. And that should be it. Let's double check one more time. Fill, health bar, slider. Okay, take the slider and attach it here. Okay, just like that. Let's just see if this works. Slider. Border. I don't know, we're going to come back to this, but for now it is there, it's attached, and we'll have to test this because I have a feeling something's not right with this. But I'm going to test this for you guys at some other point. Alright, so let's just keep moving along. Alright, now that we have fixed our health bar, we should be able to drag it into our health bar. Okay, so yeah, grab this one called health bar. Bring it right here. Our current health, that's going to be dependent on our stats up here, so don't worry about that. The next thing we're going to need to create is our eyes. Excuse me. So we're going to go into our stag here. This is where the bones are all basically. So go into bones. We're going to go, you have to find it. Each one might be different, so I'm not 100% sure. This one's set up differently than the last one I worked on. And these are not labeled. That's not fun. What we're looking for is his head. So I'm going to pause the video, find the head, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I found where the head is in my particular animal. This might become a problem if a lot of these animals are not named this way, so that if that's the case, I can go ahead and try and help you guys out and find where the head is located, because this is kind of confusing. So this is where I found the head for my guy. Personally, he is right here. Yeah, this is going to be my head. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to name it eyes. And while I'm here, I'm going to rename this to a head, just so I can find it again. And I'm just going to rename this for now to spine. I'm going to have to probably go through a lot of these because this is going to be very difficult for you guys to find this. But anyway, so now that I have my eyes transformed and it's attached to the animal's head like this, it'll be able to follow with the animations so we can have some sort of reference to where his eyes will be. And so drag eyes into the eyes transform. Okay, that was confusing. I apologize for that. Did not expect that to happen. Anyway, so moving along, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to just close all this up for now so it's not in our way. Like that. Just clean up a little bit. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create, not underneath the game object, but underneath the folder here, we're going to create another empty game object, and we're going to call this one way points. Like that. I'm just going to collapse that so you can see it's easier. So this is not going to be a child of the stag game object. It's going to be a game object with a child of the folder itself, or this empty transform, the container I should call it. And then in waypoints we're going to create another empty, and let's just duplicate this with Control D. Maybe we'll just make 4 of them for now. So 1. Control D. We'll just make 5 empty game objects, and then for each one of these, so just hold Shift, and right here click on this little drop down next to the game object box and just pick an icon. I'm going to go with red for all of them. Then we're going to create one more empty game object, and this one we're going to call water. And then this one will get a blue dot, and I'll explain kind of the color coding for that in a minute. Alright, so let me see how much time I have left here. Okay, perfect. Alright, back into our stags. What we need here is in our destinations here, this is an array. What you're going to do is you're going to take, first, easiest way to do this is to go under stag and lock it, so that way we can't switch out of it. And then we're going to grab each one of these game objects by holding Shift and drag it right on top of this destinations array. See, it says size 0, but when I drop it, it's just going to fill the array for us. And these are going to be the destinations we're going to place around the world that will he'll pathfind around. Now the next one you're going to want to set up here is we have the water. So just drag water and put it into the water transform. Okay. Chase and target, those are going to run within the script. So we're going to have to just set up a collider for the punch or the attack, however you want to call it. I just called it punch for now, but this is really just an attack. Alright, so inside of our stag, we're just going to open this up again, and in here we're going to create another empty game object, and we'll call this punch. Alright, now unlock your thing so we can modify the punch. So just hit the unlock button again so that we're in punch itself, and we're going to add a tag, and we're going to tag 2 for now. It's the only attack we have, so we'll just call it attack 2. And we're going to make a box collider. And what this is going to be is it's going to be the hit box for if the enemy or whatever is in range inside this hit box, then it will be able to take damage. Set this as a trigger also. Okay, so we're going to now just kind of modify this a little bit and just move it into where the hitbox should be. So size, center, fine. 0 is fine for the Y. I mean for the X. We're going to probably bring this up to maybe 1, or that's probably a little too high, so we'll go 0.75 for now. Alright, that looks good. And we're going to move it forward to, your numbers will probably be different, but give it a little bit of a punch radius, you know, so it can I figure it's going to swing out. So we'll go 1.25 for now. This is just testing, don't forget. Alright, so that should be good. There's our box. Now we're going to select this right here. Uncheck it. We're going to disable it for now. Right. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our, first let's just double check our script. And we're going to check our attack. We're using attack 1. So remember which attack you're using. Like I said, this is why it's great to rename these. But for me, I'm going to have to set this as attack 1. Alright, so back into Unity. And we're going to click on our stack. And we're going to go into animations. And we're going to find the attack that you're going to use. Whichever one you set up as script. Mine's attack 1. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find the part where we want our attack to create the damage. So I'm thinking like maybe somewhere in here. I'm going to go with right here. Perfect. Now, wherever that is, you're going to click this add event, like that. Okay. Then you're going to click on the event, and you'll see this pop up right here. And this is where our animation, what did I call it? It was called the animal animation trigger events. This is the trigger, and the event trigger that we're going to call is going to be attack. Then what we're going to do is click on your punch, hit record, and we're just going to check this on. And then for the next frame, you're going to make sure it's clicked off. So it should be clicked off. So you can see here, it should enable our box collider only when the attack is happening. So that looks good. Yep. And click off of record. So that is now set up. Let's go back to our project, see if we're missing anything. We got our chase target, that's good, that's good. Our animator. Oh, I don't know why the animator is unchecked. Make sure that that is on. So that should be that. Alright, now that our animal is hopefully all set up, let's bring this somewhere and test it out and see if some of these basic ideas are working. So just go ahead and collapse everything and grab your grab the parent and use your move tool, and I'm gonna move my guy somewhere where I can kind of test him out. Let's see if everything's working. Okay. One more thing I want to just double check real quick to make sure these particle effects are not play on awake. So untick play on awake on both of those. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to find our waypoints. and we're just going to move them around the map a little bit. So that's waypoint 1, waypoint 2, waypoint 3, 4, and we'll put 5. Something like that. We'll walk that path just for testing. And then take your water transform and let's move it. We'll just pretend that it's closer to the water. This is water. Just pretend there's water right there. I'm not going to push it all the way down there because I'm not sure if this slope has the right nav mesh on it. Alright, let's give it a play and see if it works. Alright, fingers crossed. Let's take a look and see if he's doing what he needs to do. Oh, I see a problem already, so I'm just going to stop this real quick. We're just going to fix that animation real quick. So let's go into our animator, and we were using walk 1, right? Make sure walk is set to loop time. While we're at it, we'll make sure run is as well. Alright, let's try that again. See if it works. Alright, play, and we should have the walk animation working perfect now. He's in an idle state. We'll open this up so you can see what's happening. Alright, so he's in his patrol state. He's just going to patrol around and follow the waypoints in the order that you set them in. And you can see this timer is going to go down. When he gets to 0, he's going to get thirsty, so he's going to go over to the water. And he's going to hopefully take a drink. Work on that, see what happened there. Now we'll wait duration, so he's going to take his little nap. Time should come up and he'll start his idle. Now he's going to go back into walk. Let's see what happened with his thirst here. I don't know what something's missing there. Check here, you can see what animations are playing. So I just want to check that animation one more time and see if it's switching his animation, because something doesn't look right there. Alright, 1 second. I'm just going to go into sleep first. Alright, let him sleep. Hey guys, sorry, so my microphone cut out. The animation is working correctly, it's just the animation itself does not look like he's actually eating or drinking. I'm going to have to take a look at that, or maybe have the animation team create animations that look a little more. That one didn't look great to me. But you can see we got a start here, we got some things starting to work. Not going to test out the chase and target for now, because right now you're going to need a whole nother animal setup in order for him to chase, and then they'll fight and whatnot. So we'll go over that in a later video, but right now we at least have something working that we can say is some sort of an AI system. It's not perfect, I know this. I basically set it up to be basic so that we can kind of all build and expand upon our animals individually, because each animal is going to be slightly different than the others. So it would be kind of silly of me to just set up all of the state machine for all of the animals as if they were one. That's why we broke everything down into different child objects and different child scripts, and you could kind of see how it's coming together. But this will give you a base point where you're going to be able to start fine-tuning and messing around with these. So I think after you get your situation pretty much set up and it's working correctly, I'm going to test this one more time and see if his health works. Yes, okay, his health does work. It's green. You probably want to set it to a red color. Like I said, I kind of borrowed this from a different game. That's pretty easy to do. Just go to your health canvas and your fill and just use your color picker tool here, and we'll just give it red, so that'll work. Now it'll be red, so red will be health. Anyway, so that is just the basic setup. We'll go into more detail on how to fine-tune this, and maybe next week. I think this is good for this week. Next week we'll fine-tune this and start individually building our animals and writing some of our own states, because obviously you guys have probably different animations than I have for certain animals, and we'll start filling those out, and that's where we're going to get to be creative in this AI state machine. If this is something that you're interested in sticking with, building these AIs, let me know in the next meeting, because we do have work that Nick's going to need done with the player controller. So let me know if you guys are interested in working on this more, or if you think that you might want to work more with the player controller. And we have other programming things that we need to have done too. But this was just kind of a setup and a basic introduction to the code that we have kind of already working and built it. So I'm going to cut this video here, and I'm just going to let you guys finish filling out your animals, and if you have any questions, please hit me up. Again, we're going to fine-tune these over the next week or so. If you want to continue working on the animals, we'll talk about this in the meeting. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you next video.